da solo, Tevez al limite dell'area, li fa fuori tutti, Tevez, si apre la porta, Tevez, gol, da dietro, Pirlo dentro,
Ciao Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve Cast channel. Of course, it is match day and it's a big one. It's Juve and Milan at the San Siro. I've got Joe, I've got Lex. Good morning, first of all. How are you two doing?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Everybody feeling good today?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna get that W today.
Feeling good.
No nerves at all. Full confidence, 150%, full steam ahead.
Well, when you put it like that, Al.
Coming back from two back-to-back wins, I don't know. I'm excited.
Let's see. We got Jeremiah coming in here, and he's got, hey guys, ready for the big game. Just hopes Max doesn't tinker too much with the starting 11, which of course we're going to get to, and everything in the build-up to this one. This guy's amazing. Waste no time. Every time I get in here, he's got comments in here. He's got predictions already. 4-0 Juve. Jeremiah, I'm optimistic, but that may take the cake for optimism here.
I want whatever you're having, man.
Dusan with 2, Milik 1, Kostic with 1. Okay, so yeah, my espresso was good, but not that damn good. Holy, I hope so, though. I hope you're right, Jeremiah. I hope you're right. We got Bob. Pleasure to have you with us as always. Okay, ciao Juventini, andiamo. We got good morning, everyone. Today is a big day. It's the one we've been waiting for after taking care of business against Maccabi in Champions League. Of course, our very own Omer was there. He's going to be with us on the post-match recap tomorrow, and it'll be awesome to get his thoughts on being at that match and everything. Ciao to Sal. Remo not wasting any time either. 3-0. Holy smokes. Okay, I got to pick it up then on the optimism. This is how this live chat's going to go. But we are going to tackle the news first. Okay, so we're going to get into the news first throughout the week and whatnot. Obviously, after the Maccabi match, we had Deschilio going down for 10 days or whatnot. Not a discredit to him in any way, shape, or form, but that is not a major issue for Juventus at the moment. Okay, so not a major issue. Milik was the one we all had eyes on to make sure, because this is a massive credit to him, but he's been a huge impact on Juventus, and he is going to be in the lineup. So that was big, because leading up to it, it was thought that it was going to be more leaning towards him being out rather than in. Milik should be in against Milan. Massive for Juventus. In terms of news, it's been very light on the news front. Okay, we had some rumors swirling around Locatelli. This has been a couple weeks now that it's kind of faded in and out on Locatelli potentially leaving, and Juventus looking at freeing something up by moving him and whatnot. I'm not buying it. We'll get into numbers and everything today as we lead up to everything in the game related, but Locatelli's been an interesting topic. Yesterday, it said that obviously Locatelli would have to accept a move as well, and he has zero intentions in leaving Juventus. What I found interesting was the amount through social media and even in the comments to some of my daily videos saying to sell Locatelli, and that some take it to the extent that he is a flop or has been a flop for Juventus. So let's start off with that and how you two feel about Locatelli. Has he been a flop? And can you see Juventus moving them? We're going to start this one with Lex. Lex, is Locatelli, has he been a flop?
No, not in my opinion at all. I think that it's normal for players to have dips in form throughout their career. And so I think that, could you arguably say that perhaps his form's dipped a bit recently at the start of this season? You could argue that. I also don't think, I know Al, me and you talked about this on one of the shows, I don't think that it's to the extent that people are making it out to be. And I also think that it's just within our midfield and within our team's style of play. I think that he gets trapped a lot of times in that. And I think he's not placed in a role that allows us to get the best out of him. So I think that that also makes it really difficult on him as a player as well. And I thought it was really telling. He posted that quote on his Instagram story. And I can't remember what it was now, but it was something like, work hard in silence, let your success make the noise. I think that was right. Yeah, and so I think that that was super telling of almost where a player is at in their own mindset right now too. So I think that kind of gave us some insight into how he's been feeling and how this talk and buzz about him has affected him as well. So I really love Locatelli, always supported him. We saw the player he was at Sassuolo. We spent months in meetings waiting to get him. And I think that sometimes Juventini have a bit of a tendency to, once a player dips in form a bit, it's like, okay, now we don't want him anymore. Let's get him out. Let's get the new guy in. When this is someone who bleeds black and white, like true Bianconero, and we just spent so long waiting for him. And I still think that he can reach new heights. I still think that there's more that we can get from him. And I do not want to see him go at all. No, not at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, yeah, I think I'm kind of leaning in the same direction, but we're going to get Mr. Cappuccino's thoughts here on that whole Locatelli scenario.
Well, whoever said he was a flop, I automatically hate. So there, let me get that out of the way.
Take it easy. We don't hate anybody.
But let's get something out of the way. Who in that midfield has absolutely totally shined so far this season? And if anybody says Rabiot, that's just recent, okay? So recency bias, throw that out the window. So okay, nobody's been really that stellar, all right? So the whole team has been subpar. So give Luca a break here. I feel like I think Lex touched on it a little bit. You know, the way that the midfield's organized, I think that he tries to do too much, or Allegri expects him to do too much, and he gets really overwhelmed, and then it just all falls apart. And I think that's probably contributing to his recent dip in form. He's young. Juve spent a lot of time and a lot of money trying to get him initially. So I don't think that he's going anywhere anytime soon. And he's one of us. He's a fan favorite. I just don't, this soon, I think these kinds of talks are incredibly premature.
Yeah. So for me, it's pretty simple when it comes to Locatelli. And honestly, when it comes to just players in general, I'm not sure what people expected from Locatelli to say that he hasn't performed well or done anything. I mean, he's been the only one over the past, I don't know how many years, that could play the regista role for us. Everybody else had major issues. And it's funny because we had guys playing it that we were complaining about their passing avenues and whatnot. And Locatelli doesn't really give you that. Our game in general changes drastically with Max, and those opportunities that everybody wants, they're not there. And a perfect example is looking at Paredes coming in. Like, how many people told me Paredes was going to be the guy that's going to, oh, you're going to see what Locatelli should have been doing? Nonsense. It's nonsense. It's been the exact same. And I will actually say that Locatelli gives you more defensively than Paredes does in that role. And Locatelli, people just expect goals out of this guy and all this stuff that he is not. He is naturally a two-man pivot midfielder, okay? And I don't know what people have for expectations for this guy, which is, I don't know how many goals they want to see or whatever, but at Milan, 48 games, 2 goals. At Sassuolo, through his loan session of 2018-19, 29 appearances, 2 goals. From 2019 on with Sassuolo, 67 appearances, 4 goals. For Juventus, 37 appearances, 3 goals. stop looking at stats to try and dictate what a guy's doing and all these assists and stuff like that. Like Paredes ain't getting any assists. Okay. Like it's our system. It's so much more to it. And the only time I can say he's really struggled is over the past bit where it's been injuries. And we ended up finding out that he's playing through injuries and whatnot. And his play did kind of dip a bit. But honestly, the number of touches, Paredes gets the exact same thing. Okay. He gets the exact same amount of touches. He actually moves even less to try and become an option than when Locatelli's in there, if I'm being honest. So you're not getting what I think in that role in general, what people want out of it, you're not going to see it and you're not going to get it. If people have Pirlo on the brain, you better shake that because that guy is a one of a kind too. Like you're not going to go and buy a Pirlo and pay a Pirlo $3 million a season at the age of 24 because that's all Locatelli's making everybody. So again, the expectations are I don't understand the expectations if we're going to call Locatelli a flop. I don't know what everybody was expecting out of him. So if people are going to say he's a flop, I need everyone to elaborate. What are you expecting that he's not giving you to make him a flop? I don't know. We'll see what some are saying in live here. So Pikachu saying, I want Luca to do well, but so far nothing. This should be the season where he has to show something. Otherwise, yes, we sell him before his value depreciates. But again, to Joe's point, I'm going to challenge all our midfielders to show me something that's in that role specifically too. Because everybody says, oh, when he moves over to the side, Locatelli is going to be this game changer. I've said it from the get-go. Don't bank on that. Last season, we had to use him there because we had no other options. Everybody else was being so abysmal. But he's not this box-to-box that's going to give you all these assists and just flood the middle of the park with all the creation and goals. Like, that's not him. That's not him as a player. It never has been, and it won't be. So if you're expecting that, it's not going to be there. I'm sorry. Again, expecting players to be something they're not, you're going to be disappointed, like you're going to be disappointed. It seems like the only times we're happy these days with players are when they come in with little to no expectations, like a Milik, and then all of a sudden he scores goals and it's like, okay, yeah, this is what we need from all our guys. Well, it's like, well, no, there's roles and there's positions and there's situations. For me, it's a reach to say Locatelli is a flop. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's done his job in that role, and I haven't seen anybody else in several years do it better, to be honest. So until I see that, let's wait and see before we call him a flop and potentially lose a guy that is not a problem and far from a problem for Juventus. There's bigger fish to fry, everybody. Bigger fish to fry.
Like, okay. Left back. We need left back.
Oh, don't get me started on left back. Now, Adrian Rabiot extensions. Let's add some more fuel to this fire. Let's keep this fire going, all right? I'm just stoking this baby right now, okay? Rabiot extension.
I shouldn't have said I would come on this show.
Take it easy, Joe. Come on, take it easy. What were you having? A glass of chocolate milk or something in the green room before you came out here? Like, just have another sip. Take it easy. Let's go. All right. Now.
Touche, Al.
Now, let's go. Rabiot extension. Rumors surfacing that Juventus is looking at extending Adrian Rabiot. Now, I'm going to start with Lex before I change a question before it hits Joe. So, Lex, Adrian Rabiot extension. How would you feel if Juventus extended Adrian Rabiot?
Man, this, remove the recency bias and the fact it's a Rabiot contract year performances. And I'm going to probably say no to extending him just because it's been so many seasons now, and I think he's been one who's played over 3 different coaches. And I remember he was always that one player that was kind of like the anomaly because he more or less was consistently mid under all 3 coaches. And it's like when you're a player that plays that similarly and stays that way under 3 different coaches, no one's pulling the best out of you. Although you could arguably say recently Max has more or less gotten him to perform. But besides that, I would say that he's just one of those players that I don't know if it's because from this whole era, I just kind of like pin my frustrations on him, but it's someone that we just always needed more from, and from someone who was on a high salary that just wasn't giving us the output that we needed for that investment that we were making in him. And so that's why I would say to part ways. I think that although Rabiot has been playing better, we still need more from him, more consistency. And I think that we can get someone who can do that role either just as good or better for probably lower cost. So
All
that's
right.
why I would say no to extending Rabiot right now.
Joe, if the wage was lowered, would you say yes?
How low a wage we talking? Because I bet people are like 5 million, yes.
What
4
wage would
million,
you
yes.
say yes to?
I'd give him 4.
4.
I'd give him
Okay.
4. I'd give him 4.
So that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm kind of along those lines. Look, when it comes to his play and his performances, I don't think he's an issue by any means. And I think he does a job, and I think he does it quite well in his particular role. There obviously is the concern that it's a World Cup year. He's being a free agent in the summer, and maybe he's dialing it up and turning it on because of that. The other thing is, though, is Rabiot is actually in great physical condition, and he is pretty much always available. And that's something we can say for very few at Juventus over the past, I don't know how many seasons. So he does have some things that count for him. In terms of salary, if we're talking net take home, he is tied for second highest on the team in terms of what he takes home. Paul Pogba will net 8 million before bonuses. He's got to get in the lineup and start earning a bit of that. Vlahovic is at 7 net take home. Rabiot is at 7 take home, and Paredes is at 7 take home. So again, one of the things, like for me, we attack Locatelli and want so much more of this and whatnot. But when you break down numbers, I'm sorry, I don't see a big, massive change from Paredes to Locatelli. Definitely not to warrant Locatelli taking home 3 million and Paredes taking home 7. I'm not seeing a 4 million difference in a player. I haven't so far, and yeah, it's not there for me. In terms of where I think Rabiot should be, he definitely shouldn't be above guys like Bremer and Chiesa, who take home 5 net and whatnot. He should not be that far ahead of even Locatelli and McKennie, who are at 2, 5, and 3 respectively. So his salary is a major issue. If I had to place him somewhere, I'd say 4 mil. It's being rumored Juve's looking at dropping it 20%. That's honestly going to drop at 1.5 million. That's still too much for the guy, in my opinion, for what you get out of him. Because he hasn't been consistent. If he played that last game, if he was like that consistently, that's a different story. You can probably stretch that and take that 1.5 off and be like, okay, yeah, but I mean, that was his first goal in 50 games.
I've been waiting. For so long.
He broke a 50-goal drought, okay? So a 50-game goal drought. So, yeah, 20% ain't cutting it unless he goes on the rest of the season with an absolute tear.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I put a poll on my Twitter. I forgot to even check the results of that. I forgot to check, but it was like, is Rabiot going to score a hat trick today? or is he going to
Yeah.
go back to his regular form? What do we
Yeah.
think? Any
And
predictions? guys?
Dickerjeet
He's
is
gonna go on a
saying
tear?
that's what you pay for experience, just like in any other job. I'm sorry, but that experience still needs to pay dividends. And I think he's talking about what I was saying about Paredes to Locatelli. I'm not seeing a $4 million gap there. That experience has to pay off. And like I've said, so far, even if you want to look statistically, even if you want to use the eye test, it has not been this massive change in the two players. Am I alone on this? Joe, are
I
you seeing a
agree.
big difference
No,
from Paredes to Locatelli?
No.
honestly, no.
I honestly,
I'm
go
not.
ahead, Joe.
I don't.
I'm really not.
I mean, there's really not a whole lot to it. I'm not seeing like that immense shift in the midfield when Paredes is in there that I guess other people may be seeing. I just don't. I don't see it. What about you, Lex?
Yeah, I didn't see it before either, even with talks of bringing in Paredes. Like, I thought maybe, okay, he can bring some depth to our midfield, but I didn't think he was going to be that guy that, like, a lot of people were predicting. Same with, like, this shouts when we got Zakaria as well. Like, it was the same thing. Like, I didn't think that there's anyone that was going to be that guy for us, which I agree, which I feel like it's hard to pin everything on Locatelli for that reason.
Yeah. And everybody likes to have fun. Social media, internet, it's great stuff. But please, all I ask, because I consider it complete blasphemy, it should never happen. Do not Photoshop Adrian Rabiot's face onto the body of Michel Platini. Please don't ever do such a thing. My eyes.
Adrian Platini.
Oh, my eyes. Jokes are great, and it's all fun. Come on. Please.
I was seeing his face on Zizou too. I was like, oh my God.
Madonna. Come on.
No.
Everybody.
Why?
Come on. Let's pump the brakes here. Please. That's all I ask. I don't ask a lot, but let's not go there. All right. So we had fun tackling some of the news, getting everybody's thoughts, and there's some disagreements with myself and what I think of Locatelli. Obviously, we all agree as a panel on Locatelli, and then, but that's great. That's why I love the AJC Army, and the live chat's always absolutely fire and adding into our discussion. So that's fantastic. Now, Michael Razzo, what did you miss? Oh, we kicked things off with some fire, man. Locatelli's a flop, and Adrian Rabiot possibly extended, but we'll let you recap that. We're now going to get ready for Milan and Juventus, okay? Because that's the big one today. I am going to be doing the watch along for this one, okay? So if you want me to replace some of these embarrassments for announcers out there, especially, and I'm not afraid to call it out, Fubo TV is absolutely awful, okay? So Fubo, come on, man. I'm here. I'm ready. Hire me.
Sign him.
Okay?
Sign him.
Let's go. I'm ready. But yeah, live watch along. I'm ready to share in all those reactions. So far this season, you guys have seen me pretty fired up and upset and distraught. And one game, I think I threw the hat around and my hair was wild. Like, we've been having some fun. It's time to get the positivity going, and we need to share victory on the watch along. And today would be a fantastic one to do so. Everyone's asking about formations and what we think we're going to see. 3-5-2 coming in from Ramo, whatnot. It's not looking 3-5-2. And in Max's press conference leading up to this one, he was talking about what he wants to do, which is be compact and slow Milan down on counters. That's a given. You have to do that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we know Milan's going to be dealing with a lot of injuries. And we are going to be without the services of Di Maria, who just went off last game. So we got to kind of balance it all out. We still got to be strong offensively, but we can't be negligent to their threats, because Hernandez will be in the lineup for Milan, who wasn't expected to make it to this game. He's going to be in there. Leao is a game changer on his own. Max said it. I agree with him 100%. They still have Rebic. Rebic scores against Juve. All people are already banking on this. And they'll still have Giroud up top and whatnot. Like, Benasser Tonali as a 2-man pivot. It's pretty solid too. So don't make any mistakes about this writing Milan off by any means. Milan's coming off a 3-0 drubbing to Chelsea. They are going to be fired up to get this one, and they're going to be at the San Siro, which is packed and going to have a hell of an atmosphere too. So this is going to be a tough game. Okay. In the past 2 times they've met, this could be one of only 2 other times it's happened where we're going on 2 draws. We're going off 2 draws in the past 2 fixtures, Milan versus Juventus. Only 2 other times in the history of this fixture has it been 3 draws in a row. So tells me somebody's winning this damn thing today. Somebody's winning this damn thing today. Okay. The odds, we'll get into betting odds and everything. We're going to have a little fun with some trivia real quick. So I talked about we're just going to have 2 questions here. See if Lex and Joe can sort this. I said the last 2 meetings were ties. Do you know the score lines of the last 2 meetings?
0-0 and
0-0 is right.
And 1-1.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Joe, nailed it. Deepak coming in with the 0-0. That was the last one. And then we had the 1-1 just ahead of that. Who scored in the 1-1 for Milan, and who scored for Juventus?
Chiesa scored for us, right? If I remember correct.
Swarit nailing both the scores. Deepak getting them both as well. Well done. Goal scores.
Did Chiesa score for us, or am I remembering wrong? Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
Chiesa has scored against Milan.
He has scored, but I don't think it was that one. Was it Morata?
Morata, yes.
Yeah.
And Vrebic.
Yes. And the live getting it right as well.
Yeah. Thanks,
Morata
Deepak.
and Rebic. Deepak and Sweaty all over this. Okay. All over this.
They're like,
now,
say Morata.
In the last 10 meetings, which club has the most wins out of the last 10, and how many?
Air conditioner Milan. They have the most wins, I think.
Damn it, Joe. No.
What, really? In the last 10?
Juve.
Okay, great. That's even better.
How many? Swarit says 6.
In the last 10?
Jeremiah saying Juve 5 wins. Ramos saying 6.
That sounds right to me. 5. I'll go 5.
Lex, are you gonna follow Joe's lead, or are you gonna?
Am I gonna go
with your own? How much?
I'm gonna stick with Sarit, and I'm gonna go with 6.
Lex is being smart, and she's keeping her mouth shut.
Swarit and Deepak were all over the ties and the draws, right? And those. And now when it came down to this one, Swarit was saying 6 wins ? Deepak coming in with 4. Lex went with Swarit. Deepak's right, 4. 4 victories for you. Okay, in the last 10. Milan had 3. And then you have, of course, draws. Actually, I think Milan had 2. But Juve's got the most. That's all that we're after. Now, betting odds going into this one. Now, last 5 outings in Serie A, 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw for Milan. Juve, 2 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss. We're not going to talk ever again about that loss. Betting odds. Milan pays 2-1 to win. Okay. The draw pays 3.35. Juve winning pays 3.7, just shy of 4 times. That might be the time to put a little chicoria on our boys. Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a nice little betting odd there. So Milan favorites. to win this one. We talked about the injuries, okay? Talked about how tough it's been the last certain amount of matches. I want to add something else into the mix. We'll go over injuries right now. Menyon not expected to start. Joe, who's in goal for them?
Tatarashanu, but I like to call him
Tiramisu. So Kyer's out, Ibrahimovic is out, Florenzi, Calabria, Macias, Salad Maker, Hernandez is going to be in there.
Florenzi's in New York right now.
For Juventus, we've got Di Maria suspended, Pogba, Chiesa, Ake, Jorge, we know, and then of course Di Chilio, the latest to fall there. Okay, so there you go. That's what we're looking at for injuries. A nice notable note here. I'm not sure if anybody knows this or has been tracking these, but I like looking these up, especially for coaches with quite a bit of experience. Pioli has faced Allegri squads 19 times. He has never gotten a W against an Allegri-led side in 19 tries. He has 5 draws and 14 losses. Pioli does against Allegri-led squads. I don't know if I just jinxed something here, okay, by saying this, but I have said it the last couple times that we've met Pioli's side. He is yet to get a W against Max. Hey, hopefully today's not the day, okay? So that's a big one. That one kind of caught me by surprise based on how well Milan has done under Pioli as of late and stuff. But, you know, there's been so many matches and these guys play so many games now that they all kind of become a blur, and these stats just kind of fall by the wayside, and you're just like, yeah, they've been doing great. Surely they would have won. No, he has not gotten a win yet. So going into this game, we'll talk about lineups now. Tiramisu in goal for them, Kalulu, Gabia, Tamori, Hernandez. Tonali and Benasser as your pivots, Krunic, Diaz, Leao, and Giroud. That's what's expected from Milan. For Juventus, you've got Szczesny, Danilo, Bonucci, Bremer, Sandro. There was mixes between McKennie and Quadrado. It looks like it's going to be Quadrado. There was mixes between Locatelli and Paredes. Looks like it's going to be Locatelli and Rabiot. And then Kostic, of course, working the other outside, and Milik and Vlahovic up top. You guys, what are we going to expect? What do you expect? How do you think this one's going to go? We're not going to get into predictions, but how are you feeling looking at the lineups, looking at missing players, both sides and whatnot? And yeah, your just general thoughts in this one. We'll kick this one off with, who wants to go first?
Joe, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Lex. Honestly, I think Perin has earned his spot as our starting goalkeeper. I firmly believe that. It's no knock on Waj, but I think that Perin has kind of taken that spot from him. That is what I would have liked to have seen, like in this potential lineup. I'm feeling that it's a flat 4-4-2. Al, is that kind of like what you're thinking that it's going to be? Yeah. Quadrado playing further up on the wing. You can only hope that he's going to make some good decisions. And hey, Locatelli in the middle of the park. We'll see if he can prove some of the people in the live chat wrong today. So fingers crossed on that. This is a huge opportunity for Juventus. This is an immense opportunity. Milan just has so many key players out, like Mike Mignon, like salad makers. They need to pounce on this opportunity. They really do. I'm talking guns blazing. None of this 20-minute, just like 20 minutes at the beginning of the game, we look like prime Real Madrid and like we're going to win, and then it falls up. Nope. I'm talking pedal to the metal, whole 90 minutes, leave everything out there on the field. That's what I want to see today. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Okay. Hard to disagree with that. We all want that.
Yeah.
We all want that. Lex, how do you feel about this one going into it?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think that, just like Joe said, huge opportunity for us today in terms of our season, in terms of confidence for our team. And I think coming off of 2 really strong wins, I mean, you can say what you want about the opponents that we played. It still is 2 wins. A win's a win. It's good for our team's confidence, seeing that we can score goals and we can win games. I think that that's huge. I think that Milan having key guys out, like we mentioned, Magnan and salad makers, although Milan fans won't admit it, missing salad makers, that is big for them. So I think that it's definitely an opportunity for Juve to take advantage of this. And I want to take advantage of them too, because they're down. They just lost. They just got kicked against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. So, I think that we can definitely take advantage of this. And although we're playing that weird 4-4-2 hybrid that we just always seem to be leaning towards recently, I don't know if because we're still missing guys. I think that Locatelli, like you said, hopefully proves some people wrong today. And hopefully it works out better as it has been in the last couple games. So hopefully we see that again.
Yeah. So everyone knows how I feel about the hybrid 4-4-2. Okay. However, this one makes more sense because Cuadrado is an outside player. So I hate it when you end up putting a central midfielder like McKennie or Rabiot on the opposite side, and you use them as an outside. Then it becomes really, really strange. With Cuadrado on that outside and Kostic on the other, it's a lot more of a natural 4-4-2 that can take the shape of a 4-2-4 in attack, or depending if one of them ends up getting freedom. Kostic won't. He'll be tied to that left flank, and Cuadrado maybe will get some freedom to kind of slide in centrally. That can almost make a 4-3-1-2 type setup or whatnot. So it's a little bit more natural than what we usually get. So also when you factor in Milan, yes, they have absentees, but they still have a good squad. The other thing is too, when I see some points in the live chat about, that their absentees are not to the level of, Chiesa, Di Maria, and Pogba that were missing and whatnot. But the difference is when you have a team that's established in their system and everyone knows their roles and whatnot, those guys are big to what they have going on. And that's a credit to the work Pioli's done and Milan. For us, that left side, our right side with Cuadrado and Danilo, is going to be tested by Hernandez and Leao. That is going to be a big, big test. I'm not concerned with Giroud at the top. I think Bremer will deal with that very, very nicely. But if that's happening and Leao gets some freedom from that side, if they can't contain Hernandez and whatnot, Leo gets some space, Leao gets some space, it's going to be Bonucci. That's going to have to be the one that's going to be trying to take care of that. So there are still some concerns there. Cuadrado has been off to a very, very rough start this season. And if there's ever a game where he needs to put in a solid shift, it's today. Facing that side of Milan, which is going to be the brunt of their strength, he's got to be on today. So that was like a pick your poison type scenario for Juventus in this one. Like, you're either playing a 4-4-2 using McKennie there, or you put Cuadrado in there. I think Cuadrado, given the rough start, is still the right call. Do you two agree?
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, I thought for some reason, McKennie, I know I didn't realize it was a toss-up, but without McKennie, as you mentioned, Al, that is true 4-4-2, putting Cuadrado on the wing. I think you probably put him out there to match with pace, right? Just because you've got Hernandez and Leao coming down that side. So that would be probably why Max opted for Cuadrado over McKennie.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's the right call despite the rocky start. And if we're being honest, McKennie has been a little bit anonymous, a little bit anonymous there. So he's got work to do on his part. And again, I just see it more as an overall system thing there. I don't think it's worth just knocking McKennie as a whole, because, I mean, we've seen him put in a very strong half a season under Pirlo. Again, different system, different style and whatnot. So it's not to say the guy isn't a good player or whatnot. He's a good player. I don't think he's anything extravagant by any means, but I also don't think he's as bad as what this just system kind of has. And Max, this isn't like something new. Max has had struggles getting the most out of the majority of guys for basically a year and a half before he got fired the first time. Okay. Michael's saying, nah, he's just trash. Okay. That's it's your opinion. It's all good. But I'm just saying, in terms of Max, if we go a year and a half back around the 18, halfway through 17, 18, and then 18, 19, he had the majority of his guys playing awful ball. And
terrible.
To be honest, what were we getting out of Chiesa before injury? All these guys that we're ragging on and whatnot, like he's got to get the team firing. Today's a big one. And Quadrado is going to be one that you're going to have eyes on, Juventini. And the truth of the matter is he can't do what he's given us so far this season. He's got to be on, and he's got to be ready for this one. It's going to be a tough one. We are going to do a Storm the Barn session, okay? As always. Predictions, we're going to get to predictions, and we're going to get everybody's in here. But yeah, get any questions you have about news circulating around Juventus and everything like that, and we'll get into it. One of the big topics I'm continuously asked about on daily update videos, on DMs, through Twitter and social media and stuff, is the atmosphere at the stadium and what is going on and ticket sales, all this. Like, everybody's got their theory. I know from speaking to Maurizio, it's a number of different things. Joe, you were most recently out of all of us at the stadium. Obviously, Omer will be there, will be with us on the show tomorrow, and he was at the Maccabi match. How was the atmosphere while you were there? You've been there multiple times. And I think you've been there when the atmosphere was hot. Oh, and Joe, we've lost him. Right like that, when I was ready to ask him that question. Michael Razzo's with us. He says every video he asks as well. Joe?
He's back.
So, I don't know if you caught the question. It was in regards to the stadium. I don't know, Joe. Come on, man. Figure it out. Joe's not technically adept here with technology. He must not be. He's struggling. Lex, from the outside looking in, do you have friends? I know I have friends that end up watching Juve occasionally, and they speak to this week stadium performance or like atmosphere and everything, and they're just like, oh, dead there today, like what's going on? And when we get blown out of our own building by Maccabi fans who were absolutely on fire, credit to them and whatnot, do you hear from neutrals that end up watching Juve and whatnot?
I do. Yeah, it's funny. I actually had someone, I guess like a neutral or a casual, watches like Prem or whatnot, message me because they're like, hey, I tuned into a Juve game. Like, why is that entire section empty? And it's like, oh man, where do I start? Like, it's like you said, definitely have casuals and other fans that don't typically follow asking me questions about that, and questions about, I think when we dipped in form too a little bit too, they were asking me like, hey, what's happening with Juve?
Yeah,
a lot going on there.
Okay, Joe,
go ahead.
Like, what's the quote? What was the question?
Like, my God, man, pay the bills, would you? Pay the bills. Okay, so basically, as the Storm the Barn questions coming in and everyone's getting their predictions in for this one, the question was, with so many questions coming in from the stadium atmosphere and whatnot and what's going on, you've been to several Juventus matches. You've been there, I assume, when the atmosphere was on point.
I was there when we were like chasing the Champions League final. Yeah.
And what's it like in your latest excursion? Because you were there for the match against Roma, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just give us your thoughts on the whole thing and the difference in what it was like back then versus now.
So when I went in 2015, the year we went to the Champions League final, that place was an absolute fortress. It was insane coming into the stadium and hearing 50,000 people like going absolutely crazy for this team. Banners all over the place. I didn't see any flares. I think you can kind of start some stuff with flares. Like you can actually have a lot of issues with that. But everybody, like when I saw Carlos Tevez score the opening goal, everybody, the whole curva went. You could see it from top to bottom, just storm go towards that goal. It was insane. Same kind of thing happened also when I was just there, but I think that the key difference, and I know Maurizio from Around Turin, who was there with me, would say the same thing. There was no cohesion in the curva. So like half the curva would be chanting one thing, the other half would be chanting something else. So there was no organization. That is the key difference.
Oh, Joe. Lex, don't be like Joe. Pay those bills. Always pay those bills. Right? This guy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He was getting to some good stuff. Pay those bills.
I don't know what's going on with me today, but my router didn't have an espresso, I guess.
Okay, you're on to something with the cohesion there. Because it was said that there's only 10% of the curva actually there, like as far as ultras go, right?
Yeah, it's so the ultras are allowed back in the stadium. Agnelli's only let a select few.
Oh, he's struggling, his router. Well, Joe was on to something really good in terms of the cohesion. So when we got this letter, this news about the ultras being back, it's 10%. Joe's losing it over there, and rightfully so. Come on, man. Come on. Be better. Be better. This might put you down a peg below Luca. Hashtag Luca out, but
oh man,
you don't want to fall below
don't say
Luca.
Al, please don't say that to don't even utter that.
Anthony coming in here 2-0. Juve's his prediction. Listen, Joel's getting on to some good stuff there as far as the curva goes. Everybody, we've been mentioning Maurizio just in case everybody should know who Maurizio is, but he runs Around Turin. It's a top-notch experience. Fantastic stuff. Joe was able to partake in a little bit of it because he was also doing the stadium tour brought on by our friends at Empire State Juventus Club New York. Shout out to Marcella, who also brought us great footage from the last game against Maccabi. It was her video we used, which was the goal on our YouTube short of Rabiot's right behind in the curva. That was Marcella. She is also going to be bringing in footage from the San Siro to us that we're going to be sharing. And obviously, hopefully, I want to start shedding some light on the amazing fan clubs and the work that they do in bringing you as close to the club as can be, especially from out here in North America, whatnot. After witnessing firsthand in Los Angeles how much time and effort and work goes into it, they really deserve, I feel, in anyone that runs Juve-based shows and stuff, to be shown that appreciation and that love. So what I've been doing now is I've reached out to a bunch of clubs. I want to get more involved, but their watch parties that are taking place, I'm asking them to pour in footage, and we're going to do some cool compilations from around the world. Hopefully it gets that big, but the watch parties and what they're doing and the gatherings and showing the live reactions, because it's just amazing stuff. Bianconeri YYZ, big shout out to them. Rocco Fasano there, obviously my first guest, Rocco Fasano, okay, from Bianconeri YYZ, way back when the majority of the show was just me. Awesome stuff. Yeah, so I want to show some love from them. I've also reached out to all of you. If you or someone you know is going to be live at the games, send in the footage. I've already had people reaching out. There's a fan from Finland who's going to be at the San Siro. He's sending in footage. Marcella sending in footage. Zvik Mister, shout out to him. He's sending in footage from the San Siro. So it's going to be great. I want to make all of you part of this channel because obviously we're all in this together, the AJC Army, right? So it's going to be great, great stuff. And I expect big, big things. Now, Storm the Barn. How do you feel about Fagioli? I want to see more of him getting the minutes, at least as a late sub. I feel Fagioli has the potential to be great for us. I feel he's being snubbed like Zach. Okay. So I started to think about while Joe was trying to give us his answer on the stadium. And I think basically your internet, your router, whatnot, just didn't like what you were saying. So they just decided to cut you out. We're going to go with Lex on this one and her thoughts on Fagioli before we get to Joe.
Definitely a good question from Jeremiah, as always. And I just want to say, I think that how do I feel about Fagioli? I do want to see him getting more minutes. I saw him in the preseason match. I've seen him play as well before. And I totally agree with the group that believe in him as like a really special player. And I think that it's hard to come in at the end of matches and kind of as he's being subbed in and being used right now. It's really difficult as a player to play under those circumstances. So I think that it's more about seeing about how and when we can implement him better in our team to give him more of an opportunity. And in terms of the comparison to Zach, I think that's like two different situations a bit. I think two different types of players as well. I think that you could compare them in terms of kind of getting inconsistent minutes. But yeah, two different situations. But I definitely agree with you, Jeremiah, that I do agree that Fagioli has potential to be great for us. I am Team Fagioli. I hope that we can get him in more often.
Yeah. Joe, Fagioli. Agree with Lex there?
Yeah, I mean, I think Lex totally killed it. I thought that he was also like one of Max's, like guys, because I think that he got his start under Max way back when, when he was just starting out. Incredibly talented player. I think he even got City B player of the year, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe I can't recall that.
He got some sort of personal award because he had an outstanding season, and the kid has talent. The kid has immense talent. I don't think that I don't think it's like Lex said. I don't think it's a similar situation to Zakaria. It's not a question of like ability. This is just one of those weird Max things. I feel like, he's like, oh, he's still young. He'll have his opportunity. I would like to see him get some more minutes. I think that there were some games that, Max could have really taken advantage of the youth team or the younger players, I should say. So yeah, I think this is just a weird Max thing, but yeah. I'm confident he'll get his time.
Yeah. So for me and Fagioli, it's been like I had high expectations of him this season as far as making some type of impact. Not a huge one, but help the cause and whatnot. And I honestly think in the minutes he has gotten, it hasn't been enough to warrant getting in there more. Miretti has actually done a really, really good job of being that dynamic midfielder to help us in terms of buildup and create offense. Fagioli's just been down on the depth chart. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I tell you what, though, he should get the next nod ahead of McKennie. Whenever McKennie's being looked at, I think I'd go Fagioli because that's exactly what it's all about. If we just bank on McKennie and when he's struggling or not, you need to start creating competition at positions. It can't just be a given. So if a guy like McKennie's struggling, it's not all on the system and the play. Like these guys got to step up and they got to find ways to have impacts and be involved regardless of what's going on there, because I've spoken about this a lot too. There's another team on the pitch. It's not just Juve and we can have our way with it. So when you're getting ruled out as a player in a match or whatnot, that system stuff, all that, and especially in a match like this against Milan, that shit's going to go out the window. and it's going to be up to the guys on the pitch to win their battles and make the most of their minutes. And when a guy's not cutting it, hey, next man up, and that guy needs to pick it up to get back into that mix. It can't just be handed to him. And I felt the same way with Perrin and Szczesny in goal. I get it that Szczesny went out on injury, but I've been very vocal about the fact that Perrin is my number one keeper right now. And no doubt about it, I said Tech's got mistakes in him. And against Maccabi, nice through ball or not, if you're coming out that far out of outside of the box, you better be 1,000% sure you're getting to that damn ball, especially when your D-man's contesting it. So Tech makes a big error immediately first game back. I'm sorry, but Perrin is our number one. And it's fine that he could get that game because it's Maccabi, and then you go back to Perrin for Milan. That's fine too, but Szczesny today has to be error-free. Absolutely has to be error-free. Okay,
Amen.
So it's going to be a big one there. Joe?
One thing before we move on, I just want everyone to know that we also kept Fagioli and shipped off Ravella. This one's for the Hive. Ravella is having a great season, by the way.
Yeah, he's balling out there. He's balling out there. We're very close to prediction time, everybody. Okay, we're going to get to a couple more Storm the Barns. This one's for Lex. So what's Joe and I are just...
I guess we're not good enough.
A couple slabs of meat, I guess.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Whatever.
Yeah, cool, Jeremiah. Thanks, man. Lex, do you feel Fagioli and Miretti can play together in midfield? Oh, look, he did add us for all three panels. Do you feel Gatti should be playing more in Serie A? Keep Bonucci for important games and Champions League. So we got two questions here. So we're going to let Lex go with Fagioli and Miretti playing together in the midfield. Then we'll tackle Gatti.
All right. And you guys feel free to weigh in on this one as well if you want.
No, this one's for you, Lex.
Well, the pressure's on you. You better nail it, and then you don't have to.
I think, sure. I mean, I don't see why not. I don't think there's two particular midfielders that can't play together. I think that there's a way to make talented players play together. So I think that would be something that we could look towards building in the future for sure. I mean, I'm not 100% sure where Fagioli played predominantly last season in Serie B. Does anyone know that? I was trying to find it earlier.
Sorry, where?
You know exactly what position?
He was he was a a center mid, attacking mid.
Yeah, he was an attacking mid. Yeah,
a cam.
Not a true cam, though, because it was more your Metzala side. Like he was more on a Metzala,
not a
swinging
true
forward.
Yeah, definitely a more forward-minded one.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think so. I think that would be good. I think to look forward to that in the future for sure.
Right now, probably a little tough. Right now, I think slide them both in there. There'll be games where we can. I think there's games, certain oppositions where you can probably do it, but I don't expect Max to.
Nope. I wouldn't expect Max to. Unless
it is something you could see.
Injuries,
yeah. Now, Gatti, should he be playing more in Serie A? Keep Bonucci for important games and Champions League. Not just Bonucci, but even Bremer, to be honest. Gatti, I've been saying for a while, like I said, early on, he's gonna surprise people when you see him play. Like he's gonna be more than what most people think, and sadly so far he's been used very, very sparingly, and he can definitely get more minutes, and preserving Bonucci is key, but also Bremer. Like it's not just about Bonucci, but Bremer as well. We don't want to run Bremer absolutely ragged. He's a beast. He's a unit, but he's going to need breaks too. Gatti should be playing more, 100% in my opinion. Joe, Lex?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of amazed that we haven't seen more of him. I think that it's just been honestly a couple of appearances so far. And other than that, nothing. Bremer has been the workhorse so far, so he's definitely going to need a break. There's got to be a little bit of a little bit of rotation in there. I mean, you don't want to see like too much, just because you have your set guys. Defenses are like very, very tight. But hey, it might even mean that we have to see Rugani play a little bit. But hey, I really want to see more Gatti in there for sure.
There you go. Now, one more Storm the Barn, then prediction time. Well, we can maybe get to a little more Storm the Barn in a bit here after we get our predictions done, but we're going to take this last one. Reminder, everybody, while you're here, please just like the video. Take a second. It helps the channel out massively. When we're done recording, if you can even make a comment on the video, that would be top notch. It really, really helps the channel. So let's get her going. Who is the better player between Paredes and Locatelli, Italian bias aside? When I answered this earlier in the show, it was nothing to do with Italian bias. I truly do feel that the two of them are very, very close. And I haven't seen either one of them perform to a standard that tells me one is significantly better than the other. So for me, this one's very, very tight between the two. I mean, it's funny because you can put together a highlight reel for Paredes that's probably a hell of a lot more impressive than Locatelli's in terms of passing and what he's done, because I saw that as soon as we signed him. Everybody's got these highlight reel clips, but I haven't seen it on the pitch, and everybody knows what I think about the French league. But I'm sorry, I haven't seen it. So right now for me, this is very, very close. I haven't seen either one of them pull away, and I'm going to leave it at that. Let's kick this one off with Joe and then Lex.
League One, Uber Eats. That's all I could think about. But no, I mean, I agree with you, Al. At least like right now, there's no clear, front runner in that contest to see who's better. Paredes, from what I remember when Paredes was at Roma, like a million years ago, and he was developing into that kind of midfielder that people talk about from his League One days. I think Paredes is probably a better like short passer, but I think that Luca is better at doing other things that Paredes can't necessarily do. So it's a trade-off. They have two different profiles here.
Yeah. There you go. Lex?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with both of you. Kind of go with that. I haven't seen enough from either of them within our team, within our system yet so far this season to really say. But I feel like to revisit that question, who knows, maybe by, I was going to say December, we got the World Cup. Maybe by like the midway point of the season, that would be an interesting like question to revisit and see like who was most effective for our team play, for sure.
Yeah. All right. With that, and there are more Storm the Barns, we will get to those. Okay. Prediction time. So we changed how we do things around here in predictions. Okay. So we're going to do final score, and then you have your own individual choice of two tiebreakers. Okay. Anybody in the live, obviously you're all free and welcome to join in. We've been getting predictions earlier on. Jeremiah's was like right out of the gate here with a 4-0. Okay, Dusan 2, Milik 1, Kostic 1. That is one hell of an espresso this morning Jeremiah had. Okay, mine was good, but not that good. We've seen some other. I've seen a 3-1 Milan from Swarit there. Bikram Jeet there with a 3-1 for AC Milan. Remo coming in 3-0 Juve.
Oh, that would make me so happy.
That would be absolutely epic. But let's get to our predictions here. And they're dropping them in here again. Remo 3-0. Dusan hat trick. Animesh coming in with the 0-0 draw. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Who wants to lead us off in the predictions?
Lex does. Lex does.
Go ahead, Lex. So you start with your final score, and then your tiebreakers are your choice. You have two of them to make. It could be goal scores, it could be corner kicks, it could be offside, it could be possession, it could be cards, whatever.
Okay. So final score. I thought about this one a lot. I think I want to say, let's go 2-1 Juve.
There you go.
Like
And what would you like for your 2 tiebreakers?
2 tiebreakers. Let's go with a Vlahovic and a Milik goal.
Okay, so Vlahovic and Milik, that's your goal scores, and you've got one more tiebreaker.
One more tiebreaker. We're going to go with a Leao offside call.
You're just going to call one Leao offside? It has to be offside total.
Oh, total.
Total for one of the clubs offsides.
Actually, make that an offside goal.
Oh, you want to make a call that one goal is going to be called back by offside? That's a bold.
Milan's going to score an offside goal.
That is a bold decision. So there will be an offside goal called back. She's claiming that is a bold decision. Okay,
We have the best live chat in the world, by the way. We really
like
do.
it. Joe, you're up.
She took my score line, but it's fine. I'll change the scorers. So I also am gonna go with Juve 2, Milan 1. I love what's going on there. Dusan's gonna score, okay, and Rabiot is gonna continue his Zidane-esque form here.
Okay, one more tiebreak.
And Leao will score for Milan. My other tiebreaker, it'll be the first yellow card of the match, and that'll go to Benacer because he's a little pit bull.
What minute?
We'll go with the 30th minute.
Okay. Oh.
Right out.
Moment of truth, Al.
You took my score line. So
it's a logical scoreline.
I will say this, leading up to this thing the whole way through, I was thinking draw. This game's got draw written all over it. Okay. 1-1 draw. I can't help but get sucked in by the fact Pioli has not got a victory against an Allegri side. This fixture in history has never had 3 draws in a row more than twice. It's only twice happened before. Somebody's winning this game.
You're
Do I
betting man
see
now.
Juve scoring 3? No.
I was going to say 3-2.
But because you two went 2-1, I'm going 3-1 Juventus. Okay. I'm going to say 3-1 Juve. Very optimistic. And actually, I think it's going to be tight. So I could say 3-2. But for the sake of my heart, my ticker, I hope it's 3-1 so that it's a little bit more comfortable. I don't want to have a jammer on a live watch along. I don't think anybody wants to see that. That would be a little sketchy. So let's go 3-1. Feel a little bit better there. Goal scorers. Dušan's going to get 1. Vlahovic will get 1.
Mm-hmm.
Milik is going to find 1. And
He's
then
going to say Rabiot.
No. You're going to get a greasy defender goal. And I'm going to go with Bonucci returning the favor and getting 1 there. Bonucci.
That would be poetic.
3-1. Okay. There's your goal scorers. My other tiebreaker will be, it's going to be the first card of the match will go to Juventus. And it's going to be just outside of 20 minutes, I'm going to say. So yellow card, I'm going to say 23 minutes. Okay. There we go.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Who do you think it's going to be?
Who?
Yeah.
Quadrado.
That's it. Makes sense.
I think it'll be an early card to Quadrado somewhere just outside of 20 minutes. Yeah, it'll be probably quad. So there we go. there we go, everybody. We're ready to get into this game again. Reminder, like the video. Okay, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. But when we're done recording, drop a quick like Forza Juve, Fino alla Fine as a comment to this video. Okay, it's going to help out the channel tremendously. We have another Storm the Barn. We'll probably wrap things up on this as we get ready. I've got to go get ready for the watch along and everything. It's going to be good stuff. Raso, Michael, Raso. Why doesn't Allegri start Luca and Paredes in the mid at the same time? Thought we picked Paredes to free up Luca as this mezzala. All right. So that was what we were led to believe. But we're also not really going with a 4-3-3. We're going with these 4-4-2s. And then the hybrid thing, we all hate the hybrid thing, but that's really the only way you can do it because you end up putting a central mid as an outside. And I think that's basically why we're seeing that. That's how I would have to explain it. But I would like to shift this question a little bit differently for both of you as we get very close to the return of Chiesa. Oh, my God. Very close. Pogba should be early November, whatnot. Once this team finally reaches full strength, how would you like to see us shape up and line up? What do you think would be most ideal and most realistic and best balance and everything? So you're in charge. You've got this roster fully fit. How do you line us up? Who wants to start us off? I can start if you guys want.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very difficult, to be honest. It's a tough one. And I think that you're not going to find one setup that can be used even when you rotate players. So I like a 4-2-3-1 for our midfielders because I think a two-man pivot is best. And I think a two-man pivot would be solid because Rabiot can play well in a two-man pivot, but so can Paredes and Locatelli. I like a two-man pivot. Miretti, Fagioli can also be that one behind your striker. And then you have your wingers as Kostic, Di Maria, Chiesa. I really like a 4-2-3-1. But Monsieur Paul Pogba, not so much a 4-2-3-1 player. He could take up that role as the top mid behind your striker. He could, couldn't he? Milik's minutes are going to be greatly reduced in a 4-2-3-1 because Vlahovic is our main guy. These are all things to think about. That's why I don't think there's going to be one true setup that you're going to be able to always constantly line these guys up the same. A 3-4-3
maybe
gives you a possibility.
That was my idea. That's what I was thinking of.
You could potentially, like it's never going to be one set thing that's going to fit all of our guys. But
that's tough.
Pogba as a 10, true 10 behind striker, maybe. But then you're using Milik just when Vlahovic is out, and I think the way Milik's playing, he's made himself like he's got to be in there for us, right? It's very tough. What do you two think?
I'm liking my brain immediately jumped to a 3-4-3. But like you said, Al, there's no easy way to slice that. And I think we're probably going to be going through some, I don't want to call them growing pains. That's not the right word, but we're going to be going through some trial and error things here with Chiesa coming back. I don't think it's not like he immediately slots back into the lineup, so like there's going to be some time. That's a tough question.
It's tough because it's just going to come down to, I think, those given games, who you are going to play. And
right.
I think we could slot between a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3. We could play a 3-5-2, like
typical,
And that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing.
Like, he's going to have options. I think that's a great thing because in the past, we really haven't had that flexibility, right? What do you think, Lex? It's just going to come down to who goes in, right?
Yeah, you guys have covered it pretty well. It's just depending on who's available, who we have, who we're playing. I think that we'll definitely be able to be a really flexible team, which is good. Yeah, I like both shouts for 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 3-5-2, 3-4-3. You can play with it a lot. I think I'd still like to see the 4-3-3. I still believe that this team's built for 4-3-3 when we get Chiesa back firing on all cylinders. But until then, we'll have to wait. But we have lots of options.
Yeah. Now, to change this, and by the way, thanks, Jeremiah, for joining us on the live. I love the hashtag Skanga out at the end, by the way. Fantastic. Anthony says he jumps in here for 3 minutes and sees hashtag Skanga. Amazing. I want to change that last bit to this just for fun as we wrap things up. Everybody fit, do or die match. We know that it's tough fitting everybody in. What would be your go-to lineup? Everybody fit, do or die match.
Everybody fit, do or die match.
Is it a 4-3-3? Is it 4-2-3-1? For me, it starts with pitting. Do or die match. I'm going to go pitting at the back.
Yep.
As far as the back line, it's a tough. These fullbacks, I tell you. Quadrado on the right, Bonucci, Bremer in center backs, Danilo on the left side, and I go 4-3-3, and I would have Pogba, Paredes, and Locatelli across the mid, and up top, Vlahovic, Di Maria, and Chiesa. I go 4-3-3, and I play those guys if everybody's fit. What's yours look like? Everybody fit. We've got 4-3-3. We've got 3-4-2-1 from Peter Balstreri there. He's got 4-3-3. There you go. Sorry, 4-3-3, which he wrote. Absolutely. There you go. That's where he's got 4-3-3 with Kostic as the left back and a midfield trio of right. I like that shout, actually. Could definitely be used there. So, what do yours look like? Joe kicks off as we wrap things up and say goodbye to everybody as we're going to start getting ready for this match.
So, pitting, Bremer, Bonucci, Danilo. I'm going to do, I should start by saying I'm going to do a 3-4-3.
Okay.
Kostic, Locatelli, Pogba, and I'm trying to think of who I'd want on the right, but I'm struggling to think of who I would rather put there. But it would be Di Maria, Vlahovic, and Chiesa up top. Full stop.
There you go. Lex, what's yours looking like?
Oh man, this is tough. This is so tough. I like both those lineups. I think I'm going to have to. I want to say, okay, just to change it up, I'll do the 4-2-3-1. Although I liked Al's 4-3-3 a lot. I'm gonna keep the Kostic left back shout from the chat.
Nice.
We're gonna go Bremer and Bonucci. Let's do Quadrado. I know it's a touchy subject right now, but let's see. Let's do oh man, because you got Pogba too. Okay, we can switch around the midfield, but you can have Locatelli, Paredes, and Pogba in there. And then we're going to do Chiesa, Di Maria, Dusan.
Alex P. Rabiot. You know what? Nobody picked Rabiot, but right now he probably should be in the clutch lineups. Probably should be. Everybody, it's been a really, really fun show. Again, want to remind you all, if you could just please like the video while you're here. When we're done and the video ends, if you could just drop a comment, a fino alla fina, Forza Juve, anything, okay? It would just help us out tremendously. I will be back. I will kick off the live probably about 5 minutes before kickoff. So if you're looking for a decent commentator, hey, I'm going to be sharing my live reactions to this big match today. Look forward to seeing you all there. All right. Fino alla fina, Forza Juve. big one today. Let's see what the lads can do, okay, and see if we can swing this pendulum in our favor for Serie A, because this is a big one, okay? Very, very big one. Let's kick things off right before we go into Israel and hopefully beat the crap out of Maccabi in their house, okay? So big one today. Hopefully Juve gets the job done. We're going to see you in a couple hours here as we get ready for the watch along, all right? Ciao tutti. Thank you again. The live chat's always amazing. Thank you to Lex and Joe. Fantastic job, you two. And yeah, the nerves, they don't set in usually till we get about 15, 20 minutes out, okay? So everybody that's on the watch along, you'll see some nerves today because I get pretty ramped up for the big games. We'll talk to you all soon. Again, fino alla fine. Forza Juve. Let's beat Milan today. Ciao.
Ciao.